Apples and bees. A special apple. The oldest apple in North America is the Roxbury russet. This kind of apple was first discovered and farmed in Roxbury, part of Boston, about 400 years ago. At that time, people had not yet discovered refrigeration. Fortunately, the Roxbury russet lasts a long time without being kept very cold, and its taste changes from tart to sweet as it is stored. Through the years, Roxbury russet apples have been used for many purposes: eating, baking, applesauce, cider, and vinegar. They can still be found at farmers markets and growing in orchards around Boston. The word russet refers to a rough brownish color, so this apple has a perfect name. Question: Roxbury russet apples are the oldest apples in North America. Where can you find them today? Page 2. Growing apples. In the springtime, fruit trees are in blossom. This is a time when pollination has to happen in order for apple trees to produce the apples we eat in summer and fall. Pollination is the movement of pollen from the male to the female part of the flower. Some types of fruit trees can be pollinated with their own pollen, such as peach trees. Other types of trees need pollen from different trees. Apple trees must be cross-pollinated in order to produce fruit. That's one reason why an apple orchard has different kinds of apple trees. But how does pollen travel from one apple tree to another? Question: Why do apple orchards need to have different kinds of apple trees? Page 3. A special pollinator. Many different kinds of bees are excellent pollinators, but one bee is special. Honeybees collect pollen to take back to their hives to feed growing bees. Along the way, some of that pollen drops off their bodies right into the stigmas of other flowers they visit. Farmers depend on honeybees. They set up beehives in their orchards and fields so that the bees are always close by to pollinate their crops. These beehives are perfect places for large colonies of bees to live. Each honeybee visits 50 to 100 flowers on each trip from the hive. Apple blossoms usually grow in clusters or groups on one branch, making it easy for pollinators to move from one flower to another. Farmers also plant their apple trees close to each other. Honeybees visit so many flowers and trees that they are known as the most important pollinators of apple trees in North America. Question: Why are honeybees so important to farmers? Go back to the text to find your answer. Page 4. Bees and apples in Boston. Bees don't only collect pollen. As they travel from flower to flower, they also sip nectar. Then they carry it back to their hives to make honey. This is their food. Many people also like honey. Do you? Honeybees make so much honey that when people take some of it to use, there is still plenty left for the bees. Apple farmers use honeybees to pollinate their trees, and honeybee farmers benefit from having such busy bees to produce lots of honey from all those flowers. Farmers and consumers depend upon each other to keep producing apples and honey. Most apples and honey come from farms outside the city. but apple trees still grow in Boston. And some urban beekeepers set up hives in yards and community gardens and on rooftops. These hives allow honeybees to pollinate flowers, vegetable plants, and fruit trees all around us. Question: with a partner, choose one page and identify the main idea of that page. If you have time, you can do this for more than one page.